Hello, welcome back. We're here to talk today about the one and only Slipknot. I know you guys are probably really surprised about that one, but there's been a lot going on with the band over the last couple months, the last year, and there's a lot to talk about. So we kind of wanted to just hop on here and discuss what's been going on, what we think might happen this year, and our take, and what it's like being a Loudwire writer amidst all the chaos. So
And one thing we really want to know is, are you okay, Slipknot fans? It's just been so much chaos over the last year. It's like, Jesus, it never ends.
wow.
Yeah, I had to. I had to. It's been a really rough year for all the maggots. Lauren, what did you say a group of maggots was called?
A grumble. So
A
that's what we're going to be
grumble.
referring to you as from now on. You are not
They're
maggots,
not
you are a
magnets.
grumble.
Yeah.
The
So,
Loudwire grumble. We're fans too. Believe it or not. I know you guys know
hard to believe
how
the people at
much.
Loudwire like Slipknot.
Yeah, we genuinely do. We don't think that they're the saviors of the universe like many of you seem to think. We think they are, but we are fans. We do like their story. We do follow along with pretty much everything they do. And yeah, so it's been really chaotic, and we know a lot of fans online have been expressing concerns about the band and the future of the band and what all this stuff means that's happening. So I just want to have a
Yeah.
conversation about it because we want to know how you feel.
Yeah, it's always important to check in with your friends, with your family, make sure that they're doing okay. Even if it's something with with band drama, like things can depress us in a lot of different ways, and that could just be the one thing where you're like, you know what, like this is the one thing that I had that I really enjoyed, and now this is bumming me out too.
There were some images that leaked online of a new set of 6 Slipknot Funko Pop figures, and one of them was Jay Weinberg. And when we first reported on it, we hadn't confirmed whether they were actually going to be released or not, and we weren't sure if they were going to be now that Jay is no longer in the band. But it has since been confirmed that they are coming out, and they'll be out this spring. So the full set contains Clown, Jim Root, Mick Thompson, V-Man, and Tortilla Man, in addition to Jay.
And I saw that, and like, man, that just hit right in the feels. It's like we know what happened with Jay. Everybody did not see that coming. That they let him go late last year. We have no idea who the new drummer is going to be. But after everything that's been going on, Corey even had to cancel his solo tour, citing physical and mental health reasons. Of course, there's still plenty of things to be excited about with Slipknot. Like there's the Look Outside Your Window might come out. I don't know. Corey said he hopes it never comes out. Clown said it would be. They're like Steven Tyler and Joe Perry and Aerosmith. Like whenever somebody says one thing, the other person says like the complete opposite. And like they're like even with Aerosmith a while ago, they're like, "Yeah, we're done," and the other one's like, "No, we're not." I'm like, "Do you guys talk? You're in the same band together."
And
So
Clown is saying that like the vocals from Corey are incredible on the album. So
I think like seeing the denial around a lot of this stuff, especially like when Craig was okay. Let's go back to when Craig was released. So you were in Canada, weren't you? You missed this
yeah,
whole thing.
yeah, I was in another country and my phone starts going crazy saying that he left. And then I see another notification from Loudwire that they deleted their statement. So I was sitting there and I'm like, I'm just trying to enjoy Canada. And now I'm
Well, you got
learning
to.
now I'm learning that someone from Slipknot's gone and now they're like recanting, or they're not really recanting, they just deleted the statement. So like what's going, is he fired? Is he not fired? I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, that was really confusing on our end. It was confusing for fans. I think what it really just shows us is that fans don't like change. Nobody really likes change, but we've seen this before. Like when Chris Fenn was let go, everybody was super bummed. They're like, "Oh, who's gonna do the screams like Chris Fenn?" And Tortilla Man, as soon as he started delivering the backing vocals, everyone's like, "Oh, this guy sounds great. This is awesome." And then they loved Tortilla Man. They gave him a nickname. He embraced it. So like we've seen a lot of times in Slipknot that everybody gets super mad about a bunch of the change. Either when Joey Jordison was let go for reasons still largely unknown, though we do know he had some really serious health complications that hampered his ability to drum. The death of Paul Gray, two different circumstances than letting a member go like they did with Chris and Craig and Jay. But we've seen these fans, the grumbles, the grumblers, the maggots, welcome new members into the band and like with open arms too. Like a lot of people like V-Man too. So I think this is really if you want to flip your perspective on this, this is an opportunity to continue the Slipknot legacy and see who else can fill such huge shoes, because it is impressive seeing it happen and everybody's responded favorably. Nobody like hates new members of Slipknot.
What I will say is I think that even with Chris Fane, it was a little bit different because there was an explanation. The lawsuit came out,
Yes.
and so there were people in Slipknot's fan base that were divided. It was either, okay, why did Chris do this? Or it was, is Chris right? You know, there was some kind of
Hmm.
explanation when, and the bands, this is one thing that I think a lot of fans don't understand. Bands don't owe anyone an explanation as to what's going on. They don't owe the
Nope.
media an explanation. They don't owe anybody an explanation. But you are going to get a completely different fan response when you give one versus when you just release an incredibly vague statement saying, this person, we have decided to part ways with so and so member, and there's no explanation given. And especially in Jay's case, he found out that morning. He had posted on Instagram right after their, I believe, Heaven and Hell performance at that festival,
Yeah.
how great of a time he had, and he found out the morning of that he was fired. We really have no idea what the reason is, because he seemed like he was having the time of his life. He was a fan
I
of
think he was having the
Slipknot.
most fun of anyone in Slipknot.
Yeah, he was talking the most about the end so far, I think, in interviews more than any of the other members were, and he was really happy to be a lot more involved in the creative process with that one. And it's sad to see that he, honestly, his dreams were crushed.
And the thing with Jay too is like there's Slipknot continuously attracts a younger generation, a new generation of fans. So for a lot of Slipknot fans, Jay has been their only drummer. They weren't they weren't there to be a fan, or they were too young to be a fan when Joey was still in the band. So Jay's their guy. And it's just a different generation. I think it shows you how the band can progress too. With these new members, and that other, it feels like home. It's not about the original nine for a lot of fans, because they just weren't there for that. But let's, speaking of checking in on our grumblers, like we mentioned earlier, making sure everyone's okay. Like let's take a look at some reactions to some stuff that's happened lately. Like we know Corey has canceled his solo tour. There's that weird Funko Pop thing. The Joey Jordison estate is now suing Slipknot. Some news that came in at the end of the year, claiming allegedly that they are profiting off of his death, using his masks in the museum after they requested them back, and
I do
a
want
lot of
to
messy stuff.
I do want to touch on that because from what I know, to summarize the lawsuit, it's that they're saying that Slipknot was, again, yes, trying to profit off of Joey's death, and that they were talking a lot about him during the press cycle for the end so far and trying to boost sales by talking about Joey's death and saying that it had an impact on the writing process of the record. And then they're also saying that Slipknot still have a couple of Joey's things in possession that they promised they were going to give back, and that they're using it in that Knotfest museum and whatnot. And my take on that, we don't know what was promised. We don't know what's in the lawsuit exactly, and we don't know the details of what's going on, just like anybody else. But with someone as huge of a part of Slipknot as Joey was, for them to not acknowledge his death and for them to not talk about how it impacted them when they were writing the next album, what would fans think of that? Fans would be like, why are you ignoring the death of one of your other members? And if I was going through a Slipknot museum and I didn't see any artifacts from Joey Jordison, I'd be like, why are you pretending that this member doesn't exist? So I
It's a
think you
good
have
point.
to understand both sides, is that they have to acknowledge the legacy and the influence that Joey had on the band. Joey was a founding member with Paul and Sean. So you can't just write him out of the history. I mean, maybe they could have made replicas of the things of Joey's that they're holding on to instead of holding on to the originals.
Sure.
Again, we don't know.
Checking in on our grumblers here. I don't even know where to start, Lauren. Like, where should we go with some of these reactions?
I mean, I think some of the most drastic reactions have been to Jay being let go, because I think, like, Craig was so quiet and private during his time in Slipknot that nobody really knows how he felt. Nobody knows if it was maybe his decision and he wanted the band to speak for him. We have no idea. But I think when it came to Jay being let go is when everybody kind of started like flipping out and saying, what is happening? Why are people being fired for no reason? He was just so happy to be in this band. Like, what is going on. So I on Reddit, there were definitely a lot of people kind of like, what the fuck is going on with Slipknot?
Yeah, I'm done, LMAO. The last two departures I defended as they were important to the band, but not necessarily the core of their sound, and I could see there being issues if there were creative differences. Jay, however, along with the drums overall, are the core of Slipknot, just as vital as the vocals and more vital than even the guitars. We could debate this all day. Jay has also never been a source of issues or drama as far as I know, and is nothing but a positive presence in an otherwise drama-inducing band. This is absolute bullshit. Okay, a positive presence publicly. We have no idea what goes on behind the scenes. Jay is a guy who wears his emotions on his sleeve. He's very public about a lot of things. So I think that's where, we kind of ingrain ourselves with Jay, is we feel like we know him or what he's up to, but he's only showing us what he chooses to show us. And this goes for anybody on social media, on the internet, in a band, not in a band.
And Jay also handled the news with dignity. He didn't bash the band. He decided to respect his time with the band and his legacy, and handled it in a way that a dignified musician would.
Yeah, I mean, we've even seen some people respond to this as kind of like a Kiss situation with Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley controlling. We've seen a lot of people say that they strongly feel that it's Clown and Corey really pulling the strings behind this. It's probably not a very great situation behind the scenes for anybody, no matter which side it's on. And that's where, like, you really just got to feel for everyone in the band. Nobody likes to see this happen to bands. It happens to bands all the time. We're all conditioned to lineup changes, some of them for better, some of them for worse. It's all really subjective. But it really it leaves the fans reeling, and it makes them feel like they're getting shorted on something that they love.
Their parents are going through a divorce. That's kind of what it feels like. Something you love is splitting up. There's two sides to the story. We're never really going to know what it is because we're not in the band or the marriage ourselves. So it sucks. It's painful to watch. And I think a lot of people who are just casual music fans don't understand how painful it can be to either lose a musician or to lose an entity of a band that you've either grown up loving or has just gotten you through really tough times and stuff. It imprints on you in a way that I don't think casual music listeners understand. So for the fans who are like really suffering and struggling like with this news and are upset about it and upset about anything, like, we hear you, we feel you. That's why we do what we do, because it has also imprinted on us, and we feel a lot of pain when we have to do these things. So
yeah, like, I just want to close my computer and put on some records and just sit by myself and be sad over whatever just happened. But having to scramble and try to do as many things as we can to serve the fans and bring you all what you're looking for. We know you're looking for answers too, and we're trying to find them, and we're trying to find ways that it's going to resonate with everyone, because we want the pain that we feel from this to also be shared with everyone. I think we could all safely say that Slipknot is about shared pain, right? From fans to the band members.
So they're going to be obviously revealing their new drummer, either their first performance, April 27th, Sick New World Festival in Las Vegas, or sometime before then. And what are you thinking? Like, do you think it's going to be someone that maybe we've already guessed, or do you think they're going to bring in someone completely kind of out of left field, just like Michael Pfaff was?
Well, we know it's not Jeremy Kling, right? Corey Taylor made that pretty damn clear. Corey Taylor does not run his own social media anymore, but I think he popped his head back in pretty quick on that one.
He was like, all right, enough.
Well, how about we end this thing maybe on a positive? Let's try to do that, huh? Let's end this thing on a positive. Try to build everybody up here, all the grumblers, all the maggots. You could let us know what you think of everything in the comments. Let it all out. This is a place for venting. This is a shared community. We're here to support each other. But I think Slipknot really have a chance to get totally back on track and course correct here at the end of the year, because they're doing a 25th anniversary tour for, or at least just a handful of shows right now for their debut album, which came out in 1999. I think it's in November. So they're like barely getting in under the line here for the 25th anniversary. Maybe there's going to be some summer shows. But Lauryn, as a Slipknot fan and someone who has seen all this stuff go down, and we're not super happy about all of this. What would make you happy about that 25th anniversary tour? What would make What do you want to see that brings you completely back on board as a Slipknot fan? You're like, yes, this is the band that I knew them to be.
Loaded question.
A little bit, yeah.
I would say doing the first album in full. I don't know if that's what they're planning on doing. I'm not sure if that's in the cards or not, but I know a lot of people like to hear albums being played in full. Some old cuts for sure that they haven't played in a long time from that album. Maybe even bringing Anders for like a show or two, just because he's part of that like first era of Slipknot, even before the debut. He's not on the debut, but it would be cool to kind of, he's been doing some Slipknot stuff and they've been showing him support for it. So it'd be cool if he were able to do like a guest performance on a song or something, maybe from Mate, Feed, Kill, Repeat. That would be pretty freaking awesome.
But yeah, that would be really cool. And just a way to acknowledge kind of the beginning of the band. Like, listen, like this is where it started with this guy, and then Corey came in, and then this is obviously
the
where
result.
it went to
Yeah.
Immediately.
All right. Well, let us know what you guys think. We want to hear from you, even when you're mean to us. It's all relative. And like, comment, subscribe. Check out our merch store for all the goods. Loudwiremerch.com helps us keep making videos like this, and keep hanging in there. We'll have some more answers soon, hopefully. And remember, I grumble, you grumble, he, she grumble, 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 grumble.